Hello, and welcome to another episode of is this K-TEIN or MASH? Sorry, this is Telling Everything in Nuance. So, welcome to another Telling Everything in Nuance by your local, your local and international fighting game connoisseur, Keobastein. My apologies. It definitely has been a while, but I've been out and about doing things, mostly life, but things. But Evo has come and gone, and obviously me as a connoisseur of all and every fighting game, I should have some things to say about what happened at Evo. So first thing on the docket, I actually was dealing with some family concerns, so I didn't really get to indulge in all of Evo. I mean, I wasn't even there present. I was watching the stream, but I just got to catch some of the highlights. And besides the fact that almost every match was a mirror match, and in fact, let's actually talk about the whole thing about how most of the finals of Evo 2023 was mostly mirror matches. I do find it funny that people were very upset at the mirror matches when a lot of the mirror matches were still of characters or playstyles that people wanted, aka overly aggressive, start attacking and getting people's face. And I guess the reason I'm saying that is because, like, alright, let's look at Mortal Kombat 11. That was all mirror matches of both fusions, both aggressively rush down heavy characters. Now, granted, I did hear there was a lot of timeouts, so I didn't watch Mortal Kombat 11 myself, but it is a well-known fact that Fujin is the rush down character of Mortal Kombat 11. And if you were asking people about Mortal Kombat 11 before, I guess, Fujin or Evo 2023, people were bringing up a stink about Cetrion being the top dog in Mortal Kombat 11, who was an oppressive zoner. But now you got your oppressive rushdown, and people are still upset. And the thing is, that's what's funny, because people keep saying they hate their people keep saying they despise zoning and laming, because hell, let's look at Melted Blood Type Lumina. People say they fucking hate Vlav because, well, Vlav from Melted Blood Type Lumina, because, well, he's a zoning monster of Melted Blood. But who do we have now in the finals of Melted Blood? Michael Rao. He's not really a zoning. He's really more of a pressure rush down character. Does he have some zoning abilities? Yes. I mean, we can say that almost every character has some zoning ability, but he is the pressure you and make you explode character. So you have that. You don't have Vlav taking top 6. So why are people still getting upset? Let's look at Zero May Cry from Marvel. I mean, before Zero May Cry, people were bringing up a stink about freaking Dr. Doom and Morrigan team that were zoning to hell. Now you have your we make you touch and die, Zero May Cry, Zero being in your face, constantly trying to kill you, and people are mad? I just don't understand where it just seems people are so inconsistent in the things that they want, or maybe they just want to complain for the sake of complaining. That seems to be the case. But going back to the things that I enjoy from Evo, for starters, the first thing, Melted Blood Type Lumina was hype all around. It does make me want to play the game more, and I'm really thinking about playing the game, since I do like that out of all the current games that's out there. So there's that. Let's see. So yeah, in Melted Blood Type Lumina, a lot of Mario characters came out of the woodworks and showing out, and people are like, who is this character? Why is everybody playing this character all of a sudden? I mean, I can't particularly say why everybody playing this character, but then again, technically we know why. Even though Melted Blood Type Lumina may be now, I think, 2 to 3 years old, a lot of characters that are definitely on the defensive slash, don't want to say methodical side. No, I'm not going to say Mario's methodical, but he's definitely on the, I'm not trying to go in and make you explode. He's rather, I'm going to move around you, weave around you, and then make you explode. Or, well, actually not explode. I'm going to make you die by 1,000 cuts. But that is what Mario is. Mario is that neutral character who, alright, I'm not going to try to really engage my opponent. I'm just going to throw my nuns out here, see what the opponent does, and react accordingly. And that was fun to see, especially since I was seeing what the Mario player is doing. I'm like, yep, they're probably going to do this and do that. And the fact that I can read what the Mario player wanted to do, even though they show some new tricks here or there, I enjoy that, because that means I at least have an understanding of how to play Mario myself, even if I'm not playing him at actively, or the game actively. So that was fun. The next thing I liked was Grand Blue Fantasy Rising. They did a short tournament for that, and the person that was in the, I believe, top 6 was none other than my boy, the one I keep saying everybody is underestimating, Are, or Uno in Japan. Yeah, there was a Uno in top 6, and he was putting in the work, shutting people down, let them know, hey, I'm that character who is the wall. You want to get past my defenses? Well, break down this wall first. I was a little disappointed how the character, or rather the people who were playing them, I can't remember their name, unfortunately, didn't use more of his parry, but I am slowly learning that I'm the person who overvalues parry in the collective sphere of fighting game culture, I guess, if you will. Because, personally for me, I say my point is doing something that, let's just say, leads to a parry. I mean, unless the reward is very low, I always want to parry them, because if I use a parry, that indicates, that lets them know, hey, I just parry your attack. You may want to try to do something else. So then that allows me an opportunity to open you up, because now you're doing something else. And I guess the reason why I really value parry, because there are a lot of attacks that is just, no, I'm going to skip neutral and start my offense. Parry or / counter commands, when they're used, they stop the belligerent type of offense, so the opponent has to be more collective, or let's say more reserved on their offense, which usually allows me to then either do a bit of zoning or footsie a little bit better, personally, for me. I didn't see that from the RA and Uno player, but they were still doing a good job of, tripping up people, though even the commentators say, well, who really knows what this character does? Which, that is a little disappointing, because I do think that maybe a good portion of these people, no, I don't want to take away from that player saying that he got carried because Artway is an unknown factor, but there definitely is some, let's say, people just like, well, I'm just going to keep doing this thing that Artway can definitely punish. But irregardless, I did get to enjoy seeing Artway. So those who are from the tournament side, I got to appreciate things that are not from the tournament side of EVO, but were announcements. We got Under Night Ember 2 in the works, and I am definitely looking forward to Under Night Ember 2 coming back. I mean, it's French Bread fighting game. I do my French Bread fighting game, even though I have to admit that maybe Type Lumina isn't the most loved out of the French Bread titles. I would still definitely prefer to play that than like Street Fighter 6, which I know it exists. Street Fighter 6 exists. That's the second thing I can say it. Maybe Aki, who we did get a chance to see at EVO, might draw me in. She definitely has the she at least has the weird character vibe going on. I'm still hoping she's a goofball, but she has definitely the weird character vibe that seems to be on the horror side, but still hoping that she's almost like Fawn, where she's either clumsy or at least a prankster, or hopefully a gremlin of sort, but not the jury gremlin who wants to be a tsundere. No, she's that type of like, I just want to make everybody life miserable because I enjoy it. Either way, we'll find out what's going on with Aki. Did I skip Under Night Ember? Well, actually, I did want to comment on Under Night Ember. So we got to see some of the patch notes, and they say character were getting new moves, and I learned at least 2 new moves that Enkidu was getting. Now, one people was really hoping he got a command grab, and well, they're correct. Enkidu did get a command grab, and if there was something that he did need it, I'll admit a command grab is probably something he needed. Though they did something particular with this command grab, where his grab is a command grab super. Let's get one thing. It's not like a regular command grab move. It is a command grab super, so you have to use meter. But not only does it have to use meter for it, the opponent can tech it. And I may be out of the loop, but there are very few command grab supers that you're allowed to tech, from my personal understanding. But thankfully he can combo into it, which does make it seem guaranteed. So that's pretty nice. But anyway, he does have a command grab super, which is looking like that might be his meter way to end combos and whatnot, for both damage and positioning, because there already was playtest of unique Under Night Ember 2. But the other thing they gave him, which I'm really excited for, is he has a Tsubaki. What is a Tsubaki? Basically, a Tsubaki is an attack that still has defensive / reflective property. It's like having a command counter, but that still is an actual attack in itself. So yeah, so Enkidu has this thing where he like holds his hand up, does it on a swirl, and then he does a palm strike. And if you try to attack him during that, when he's like holding his elbow and preparing his palm strike, he would still nullify the opponent's attack and still attack them. But then not only that, he also works against projectile, so it also eats projectile, and he's also allowed to still also another thing I like is he can cancel the palm strike, startup into the parry. So because I think it only actually Tsubaki's mid attacks, not like low attacks. So if someone wants to go for a low, I think he can do the startup of the Tsubaki attack and then cancel it into the command counter, which will catch lows. But overall, it's improving his defensive game further, so it's got me really excited for that. But then not only that, the new mechanic that is also getting added to Under Night In-Birth looks like to be some type of roll mechanic that gives you grid, another defensive mechanic. So I am just eating good when it comes to Under Night In-Birth. So I am definitely looking forward to what's going on Under Night In-Birth 2. Besides that, actually, I'm trying to think what else happened at EVO that caught my interest. Well, they actually did announce Pocket Bravery has a release date and is coming really soon for EVO 22. Actually, they also even announced a beta, which I did have the opportunity to participate earlier this month. And my impression of the game is... It was first positive, but after experiencing it, it went to don't use trepidation. Let's say less enthusiastic than I was before, mostly because of doing that beta test. Well, there are two things I have a particular concerns about the game. For starters, this game has an issue of too many command input overlapping. AKA, let's say I want to try to do a Shoryuken, where the command for Shoryuken is forward, down, and then down, forward. But the character may also have, let's say, a super command that is down, forward, down, forward. And let's just say it is very easy to unintentionally buffer a Shoryuken into a super. This was a big weapon problem in Street Fighter 4, and it's definitely even a rampant problem in a few other games that haven't learned to, let's say, adjust their command input, if you will. Another game that has a similar problem to this, I would say, is Chaos Code, but doesn't feel as bad in Chaos Code as it does feel in Pocket Bravery currently, in my opinion. And yeah, that's the first problem I have with Pocket Bravery. Their input leniency is way too, let's say leniency. The input overlap, but then buffering is also way too prominent or strong in my impression. And what I mean is, like, I'm on a hitbox. In fact, because I'm on a hitbox, I can hold the down button, press forward, and I'm getting a DP. Sorry, not DP. I'm getting a fireball immediately. Like, I don't even need to do the motion and time. It's just any type of, like, if I just try to do a diagonal. Actually, in fact, if I just press diagonal twice, I think I get a DP. So the shortcut, I guess maybe I should use shortcut, is it's way too prominent, and I want them to personally dial it back a bit more, in my opinion. My second problem with that is how the proximity guard is operating the game. Basically, I get stuck in guard a lot more than I prefer in the game at ranges that I don't think I need to put on block. Like, my opponent can be at a distance where none of their strikes can hit me, but because they didn't attack, my character immediately starts blocking. And it also seems that guard itself even has recovery. Not recovery where you're vulnerable, but recovery to the point where you don't get control back of your character immediately. Because in one of my gameplay sessions with one of the fellow Blade Trader players, like, he was doing this pressure string, which looks like it wasn't fully tight. It looks like there were stagger points in between it, because I'm definitely able to press a button and I get counter hit. So I'm like, okay, well, since these are gaps here, obviously that means I could probably maybe backdash these gaps, or at least rather I can escape these gaps if I use anything that's frame 1 invincible move. Backdash is a frame 1 invincibility move in Pocket Bravery, but because it seems I can't mash backdash doing so much pressure, I'm just stuck in guard zone. Or rather, the game registers as, oh, you're trying to guard, so we're going to keep you in guard. Like, no, I want to backdash out of this. I want to backdash out of this pressure. But I wasn't able to do so. There was even a point in time where I even forego even trying to do anything else. I just kept mashing back when pressure just doing a pressure because I didn't even care to fight anymore. I just like, well, let me just see, can I even backdash this pressure? And I couldn't. And I immediately went, what the fuck? So is pressure that what prevalent? But then afterwards, after that, even when I got a chance to try the character who I wanted to try, I wasn't really impressed with the game because it doesn't have mechanics that are defensively interesting. Because mechanic wise, there is a backdash, there is a guard, there's an alpha counter, but it's just a knockback and actually that's it. And from there, then your other defensive option is whatever your character has at that point. Otherwise, that's all is for a universal defense mechanic. There's no anything like instant block in there, or there's no instant block. There's no parry, counter, armor, focus attack, or like shield. There's just nothing there. Which I'm not saying a game technically needs that, but then here's one other issue is, well, what do you have on the offensive side? Well, you have combo breakers, command to super command extends. We have links and pressure, all this stuff. But it's like, so there's so many mechanics to play on offense, but very little things on defense to deconstruct. And I feel that is the case because when I even look at the game and the different characters and like their character showcase, it's, hey, here's how you can do to lock down your opponent. Hey, here's how you can combo you get your opponent. I'm like, okay, that's great and anything, but what if you want to just deconstruct your opponent? What if you want to just outwit your opponent? No, they don't care about you outwitting your opponent. They want you to just pressure your opponent and just that's it, which I just don't care for that type of way to play the game and whatnot. But right now I'm basically the same point I am even with Street Fighter 6, where if anything the character has to pull me into the game and not the game's mechanic, because the game mechanics are for the most part uninteresting and whatnot. Oh yeah, there's Guilty Gear Strive, and Guilty Gear Strive exists, and they added two in particular mechanics, which I guess is kind of interesting. I like that they added mechanics that uses your actual burst meter, but when I just look at the game again, still I'm like, yeah, fuck, I still don't care for you as a game. So yeah, don't really care for Guilty Gear Strive. I did get a chance to play the Grand Blue versus Rising beta itself, and the changes, I can certainly see why some people are not too far on the changes. Actually, yeah, now I think about it, that game is another game that's also just want to keep attacking the game because how it's designed to pretty much favor the person who keeps attacking and whatnot. I mean, yeah, there's a guard. I mean, there's an alpha counter in the game, which I thought I would like, but actually, I think I still prefer tactical role in general. Tactical role. And I found when I was playing the game in the beta, a lot of matches did wind up to just me, who's one I just kept attacking first. And the only reason I even was able to tolerate the matches because, I have Henry Uno, who is more, who has a parry mechanic, who has counter commands and whatnot. So it's hard for me to say, oh, I enjoy Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. It's more of I enjoy Henry, so Henry allows me to enjoy Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Same thing with my issue with Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I enjoy playing Jiren in Dragon Ball Fighter Z, so I can tolerate playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z because of Jiren. But if I'm not playing Jiren, then whatever. Almost whatever. I mean, there are some characters I do like. Actually, they did update Dragon Ball Fighter Z with some pretty interesting changes. That's the best way I want to say it. I mean, for the most part, I do think these changes are more or less better. I haven't played it myself. I just see what's been going on, the rumbling. But once again, I don't care for fighting games where the characters is my main way to enjoy the fighting game. If I can't really enjoy the system itself, then I have a hard time sticking to those fighting games. But this is a long tail I've already talked before, so we're not going to stick on to that. So let's see what else is going on. Well, even with everything I said about pocket bravery, I am very much still going to get it. I am going to get it. It's a new fighting game, especially an indie fighting game and whatnot. And again, maybe some of the concerns I have may be addressed or adjusted and whatnot. We'll see. So there's that. Another thing that I actually had the opportunity to try that's now no longer EVA related, if I didn't mention that, I got a chance to try the game called Frostfire, which is having a bit of a favorable impression. I've been aware of this game's existence for a good while, but I haven't really attempted to try to play it much because, one, in order to get access to the game, actually the game is in early access, but not only is it really early access, it's a game that asks you to keep paying into it by a Patreon and whatnot. And well, one, it's not something that's fully committed. Like, I can pay the Patreon for maybe one month and then, never really bother with it again. But it was something I really wasn't fond of, that type of practice, because there's like also Ease Lab 2, which also has that same thing going where, hey, pay us monthly and allow you access to the game as it's being developed. But I'm not particularly fond of the practice of me getting in there just for one thing so I could get a chance to play the game and then bounce. It seemed not... It wasn't that attractive prospect for me, but it also feels like a bad thing to do to an indie studio or people who trying to work on and trying to get feedback. It just kind of seemed mean to me. I'm definitely a bigger fan of just me paying the early access and then I just get access to the early access. Granted, maybe that's not the best way for many games to handle, but speaking of early access, it seems like August Chroma, another game I'm interested in, might be entering early access on Steam, and I'm definitely looking forward to that since I already do own it on itch.io, the other game store platform. But my current issue with that game is there's no button reconfiguration for that game itself, so they ask you to use Joy2 key, an app that lets you change up keyboard keys to your controller to kind of, I guess, basically deal with the fact that there's no button remapping. And it got to the point of like, okay, that's way too much investment for me even to want to deal with. I kind of want to streamline. So I think once this game goes to Steam, that's something that the game is going to have, because I don't think Steam will allow them to not do that, I think. But that is a guess more so than something I actually know. But yeah, either way, looking forward to that. Phantom Breaker Wikipedia, that definitely has been making some. I said making some. I've been making some headway in the Phantom Breaker Wikipedia, at least to the point where I'm getting most of the characters' overview somewhat down. I think I at least have 20% down, so there's that. Actually, speaking of that, I did also I might be re-exploring Idol Showdown. I say the word might because I am kind of turned off by Idol Showdown's long combo route, but then I also wasn't really finding a character either in that game. I was playing Fabuki, and she's fine-ish, but I wasn't really enjoying her. It's more so, well, this is one of the few characters who I at least seem to enjoy as I play the game, but I wasn't really loving her. But then I tried Sora, and Sora is at least a bit interesting just because she asks a bit more, and she's a bit set play, and I'm starting to really appreciate set play characters. But there is still the emphasis of long combos, and I just don't have the biggest attachment towards always doing long combos. But Idol Showdown is a 3-button fighting game, so it's at least a lot more tolerable than, let's say, Skullgirls, where I won't say I dropped it, but I'm also not itching to go back to play Skullgirls either. That much I can say. So I think that might actually wrap up everything I wanted to say and talk about. Let me actually check my paperwork and see if I am done. I say this as I check my Oh, well, I guess I can make a commentary about Mortal Kombat 1. Well, I don't have a PS5. I don't have an Xbox One. I don't have plans to try to get them anytime soon. I do have a PC, but I am pretty confident my PC might not be able to handle it. So there's that. And also what I see from the game, at most, I do like how assists have more application than rather just, I either zone, lock you down, or whatnot. Like, you have assists that teleports you, you have assists that nullify projectiles or even reflect them and whatnot. So that's interesting. Those are interesting. But I also haven't really seen a character that also draws me in outside of maybe particularly Baraka or Shane Stone. Tanya seems a bit interesting, at least because I think I've seen her having a counter stance. But from what I really understand from Mortal Kombat, they rarely offer a defensive-minded character outside of heavy zoning, which I'm still not crazy about, per se. So, yeah. But actually, speaking of something that I didn't think I was going to care about, I might be showing interest in Tekken 8. Even though I really don't fucking care for the game system, even though I really don't care for the gameplay of Tekken 8, that new character they have, whatever's her name, what is that girl name? The one about the coffee? Darn. Let me see if I can get her name. Azuzina. So Azuzina, she might draw me into Tekken since she has the characteristics that I want out of a character. She has a lot of, let's say, Tsubaki attacks, aka the attacks where there are regular attacks, but someone trying to hit you in between the startup of them. Then they do a special follow-up like attack. She seems to have a lot of counter stance or evasion like moves, which, well, that's kind of what I'm down for. That's what makes me like, let's say, Aoi from Virtual Fighter, or Lei Feng from Dead or Alive, and even to some bit Raphael from Soul Calibur series. Like, I like those characters who have these, I don't know if I can say powerful, but skill set that's geared towards them having the ability to deny, deflect, or deconstruct the opponent's offense. I do like that, and it looks like Azuzina is doing that. Granted, there was obviously, she's not technically the only character that does that. There is Asuka, who has her counter commands, and apparently even Leroy does that, since he has a lot of parry counter commands. And I just learned that. And apparently, or rather, I had to find a video that says what are all the parry moves in the game, and apparently Leroy has the most. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? If Leroy has the most power move, so he's like a parry defensive character, and I guess that's why I don't understand, because why he does have a lot of strong parry defensive. Is that what the character shines in? Is that what his game plan? Because no one else really seems to comment on that from people who did play and talk about Leroy. Granted, I must also admit that I was not following Tekken 7 heavily to really know better and whatnot. So there is that. All I did hear was, well, Leroy is simple, but I never really heard that he was a parry character per se. Did I say parry? A defensive character per se. I heard he was more of a rounded, I think. So yeah, I never knew that. But either way, also seen even when they show his trailer, like, they weren't showing Leroy parrying people. He was doing these mix-up strikes and all these other stuff. But Azuzina's trailer, she was all about evading the opponent. Basically, they're saying, yeah, this character is about basically defensive evasion. And now I'm like, oh, well, that's what I'm all about. So the fact that they highlight from her gives me the impression that she is essentially supposed to be that defensive character, at least in my opinion. So we'll kind of see. I mean, I'm at least interested in Azuzina more than I can say I'm interested in Tekken 8. But now that we're at a 30-minute mark, I think we can wrap this up. So, thanks. Hope y'all have a great day, and see you on the flip side, I guess. Yeah, see you later.